it's a brief outline of what I'm going to say. The first points, several points will be jumped over very briefly because not they are my main aim. And that's the beginning of our Itelmen project. It's a letter which I received at the beginning of 2020. And it came from a language, from an Itelmen language activist, Maria Kille. She didn't speak the language by that time, but she attended courses of Itelmen in Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. Well, and when I received this letter, the letter came to my institutional email. So I went to our director and asked what to do, because we had to do something after such a letter. And we decided to organize a group of students who from the Moscow University, where our director teaches, and to try to teach them and ourselves Itelmen so that we could work with the data. And we started doing it. It lasted several years, because then the pandemic came and we couldn't go to the field. A little bit of the history of the Itelmen languages. So there were 3 Itelmen languages according to the data and to some word lists from dating back to the 18th century. And only one by the beginning of the 20th century, only one, and these were not just dialects, but different languages according to their word lists. And at the beginning of the 20th century, the only one Itelmen language left was West Itelmen, with 2 dialects, northern and southern. And recently, because now it is not spoken in the South-West of Kamchatka, we have only one full speaker now, but some 10, 20 years ago it was spoken in this region, and some researchers, as for the group to which it, genetic group to which it comes to, so it is not decided yet. Some researchers regard it as a part of the Chukot-Kamchatka language family, but there is no agreement on this point. It's not so important for language preservation, I dare say. It is represented by 2 dialects again, and the northern dialect is also called Sedanka because it was spoken in the only village. Today, Sedanka doesn't exist anymore. And southern dialect has several local varieties. Every village had its own variety. Well, in the 10th, there were several competent speakers of both dialects, several over 10, between 10 and maybe 20. But during after the pandemic, during the pandemic, and right after, most of them left this world. So today we have only one full speaker and several new speakers. And this speaker speaks the northern dialect. And there are also several new speakers of the southern dialect now. A little bit of geography, that's where all that happens. And these are villages where Itelmen live, and those in brackets, they are dead villages. They were closed, so to say, and the people were resettled to other villages. And it helped, so to say, to break the language, because in their villages they lived separated from other people and partly from other languages, not fully, of course. Well, a little bit of demography. Just look at Itelmen speakers. Those are data from the census 1910 mostly. Our last census is not good and not trustable, I dare say. And the last column is just what the experts say. And S means new speakers. And that's the dynamics from the end of the 19th century up to 2010. Now, well, and under 10, so I told you all that is written here. And documentation. You know, the Itelmen language is pretty well documented, starting with Krasheninnikov and up to today. Look, all that is dark blue is all the works written dark blue describe one of the southern varieties of the southern dialect varieties, and those which are red, the northern dialect. And you can compare that. You can see that the majority of the works describe the southern dialect, and there are very few works concerning the northern dialect. So it's absolutely clear that the northern dialect is underdocumented, and God sent us the last speaker. There are some internet resources, and the last one was this corpus, an annotated Itelmen corpus was compiled in our laboratory by my young colleague Karina Schaefer and two students who worked at the data of Jochelsson and Volodin. Volodin worked with the Itelmen language all his life, and he died about 10 years ago. Well, documentation, we'll skip it, and just look what interesting we in the phonetics have. We have eruptives, p and p, t and t, and so on. And then we have a lateral fricative one. And then what is most important maybe and most rare, so many consonants can stand together. None. Not easy to pronounce, I dare say, and the vowels are simple. Well, and some of grammar, the verb is pretty complicated, but I'll jump it over. So these were our tasks. The southern dialect is well described, but we have a chance to describe the northern dialect. So documentation and study of the Sedanka, Northern dialect documentation and analysis of the language of new Itelmen speakers, sociolinguistic survey of the Itelmen local communities. We are trying to reconstruct the history of the language shift development in each, thank you, in each of those villages. And then we are trying to support the Itelmen language activists in their attempts to produce new speakers of Itelmen. So we had 3 documentation trips. The first one was done with a young colleague, and the 2024, of course. The last 2 trips were done by myself because now, well, 1 linguist, now 1 speaker, 1 linguist. That seems to be enough. Well, and here is this brilliant lady, Liudmila Egorovna Pravdoshina. So she is 86 now. She's really great. Actually, she's blind, but you don't see that she's blind. And here is the data received from her during these 3 years. So we have 18 hours of audio and video recorded texts in Itelmen. All of them are both video and audio recorded. And 4 hours and a half were transcribed and translated into Russian with her help. And you know, a person of 86 helping the linguist to transcribe and translate the text, just hearing it piece after piece, it's really great. The main thing is that she wants to work and that the work interests her. And she wants to pass her knowledge to those who come after. She is ready to teach everyone in her settlement, but no one comes to learn, you know. In her settlement, Tigil, it's a district center. Itelmen is not taught or not taught, not inside school, but it's an additional school activity. But the teacher does not speak the language, but she doesn't want to learn. Well, and this year we did, we do collect data for a sounding dictionary of Itelmen, of Northern Itelmen, thank you. And this year we did one more thing. We made 10 hours of recorded data for ultrasound research into the articulation of the Sedanka Itelmen sounds. That's the description of this machine. And here is Liudmila Egorovna in this, sitting and working, pronouncing, and that's the, this machine writes down the sound and also gives the pictures of ultrasound pictures, and then are given, in the same time. So in a special part of this big machine helps to, I failed the word, okay, to make so that the sound and the pictures come simultaneously. Well, and she agreed for this work, you know. And so it's the praises to her. And you know, now we decided to meet next year. And I think we build a sort of a team now, because she is also a part of what I am doing, and I could do nothing without her. And what is great, she is really very interested in this work. The only about the blacksmith, those are stories, life stories. One moment, second, please. And then, I want to show some new speakers. That man is Russian, but he learned Itelmen to a very good level, and he teaches in the Itelmen courses. And those are his pupils. And here is he with his pupil, and we recorded the word list from him. And here is another new speaker who teaches Itelmen, not that from the village of Liudmila Egorovna. And the only thing I want to put an end to my talk, I want to let you hear a little bit the Itelmen speaking. Hopefully you'll listen.
И вот в церкви, когда нанкалхужучи лем кохина шамжатха хуп мжанк эшхлинг это лем лакжукича нанкалхужучи креста ненон иконин ткалхужунен пулан мжинен эшхлинин келвуч чирхужунен
just unfortunately very low. I'll stop it now. Well, and I think thank you for your patience.
And we have a little over 2 minutes for questions.
Hi, thank you for your talk. I'm curious, I imagine working with the last speaker of a language brings just a lot of challenges with it. I was curious if you could maybe elaborate on the biggest, maybe mention one of the biggest challenges that you experienced when working with her.
Well, it was something new for me, though I've worked with I worked a lot with Selkup, it's a Uralic language, and with Evenki, it's an Altaic language. And Evenki is spoken all over Siberia. So there are villages where only one person speaks, but it's just a local dialect, not the language in itself. But I was lucky to have such a lady, such a last speaker. If such last speakers were left everywhere, then with the last people, linguists could do a lot with each such last speaker. You know, in the whole, it seems that all those people who preserve the language when all the others do not are strong people, and they have something in them which allows them to keep the language. And quite often they are brought up by their grandparents, that's also. But with Liudmila Egorovna,
Thank you.
thank you.